Welcome to the game. I'm Russ Cohen. We've got Nikco Riesgo. Nikco, how are you?
Russ Cohen, my man.
And Mike Augello, how are you?
I'm in a good enough mood not to slap anybody.
Wow, you've never won an Oscar either. So, to be fair. let's talk a little baseball. Baseball's back. Spring training's almost over. I guess the first question I would have for you, Nikco, is, this is a shortened spring training. Like it's very odd. I think, like a seasoned pro like a Max Scherzer who went 6 innings yesterday could probably handle it. But I have a feeling this shortened spring training is going to screw up some players.
You know what? And that's something that it shouldn't. If you're a professional, the off season is not really a time where you just recover. The off season is actually a time to recover and actually work on your skills, and you're ready to be in shape, in spring training. So you're coming to spring training ready to go for the whole season, not coming to spring training to get ready to go.
Mike, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, this spring training is, I think it's sort of been a fast forward of things, and Anna agrees. A fast forward of things in terms of, I don't think there were, teams really. I mean, there aren't going to be, unless there were trades made, there aren't going to be any great big changes. And, that I think that sometimes that's good. Sometimes there's continuity, and that helps a team going into a season. Everything has been so chaotic the last couple of years that, maybe returning to a bit of normalcy will work. But like, for example, the Yankees, there was so much change. Teams like the Blue Jays with the free agent signings and the trades that they made, so much change that I think you probably needed a full spring training to get things properly aligned, and they're not going to have that. So things could be fine, but I also think that certain teams are not going to adjust, and it's going to be problems to start with for the season.
Yeah, I tend to feel the same way Mike does. I get that everybody's a pro, but again, both of these last 2 seasons, Nikco, have been odd seasons. You had a shortened season, then you had a regular season, and now you have a regular season with a shortened spring training. It's not exactly the same, but we'll see. We'll see how it sort of goes. All right. So I would say first big story that's getting talked about, and look, nobody would like this to be true, more true than me, but people are writing, and I think it's really premature, like, hey, could DeGrom and Scherzer be the best 1-2 combination ever? And look, if you want to go way back, it's like Warren Spahn and like Johnny Sane, right? They had that whole saying about them, Spahn and Sane and pray for rain. And there's been other great ones too, but I can't, Nikco, I'm not ready to say that yet. Although they're both great pitchers. Don't get me wrong, but I think it's a little too early.
Oh yeah. Until you get Nolan Ryan and J.R. Richard in that same lineup, and then maybe add that Scott, I think they had extra. They
had Mike. No, J.R. Richard was not on.
It was Ryan and Scott. Ryan and Scott.
Yeah, Ryan and Scott. Okay, and then J.R. Richard came later.
No, he was before. Then Bob Nepper was the third starter on that 82 roster or 86 rotation. Yeah.
Okay. And then obviously Doc Gooden, and then they had David Cohn.
There was honestly,
Scherzer, Valenzuela.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one for sure. Look, you can go Seaver Kuzman. That was one of the best too. But it's still, and I'm sure Mike has a few Yankee ones too. They had some good ones.
I'm not a particularly fan of Roger Clemens, but when they had Clemens and Pettit, or going back to the 70s with really after Guidry they had a series of like number 2s that were okay, but it's really tough. You can go back to if you talk about the 80s, like for a few years you had Andahar and Tudor in St. Louis. That was the rival for the Mets. Yep. And so it's you have two extremely accomplished pitchers. One I
With a
think
lot of Cy Youngs.
with a lot of Cy Youngs, one in the twilight of his career, but still pitching extremely well. And I'll repeat what I normally repeat when it comes to hockey. The concern with me with these guys, and I think it's been a concern with DeGrom for a few years, and the concern with Scherzer less or so, is the injuries. It's if DeGrom pitches 175 innings, if he makes 30 to 32 starts, the Mets will be ecstatic and the Mets will win the NL East. But if he has arm issues or shoulder issues, which he's had in the past, and then Scherzer has to carry the load, I don't know if their rotation past those two is strong enough to beat, say, the Phillies or Atlanta in that division. So it's going to be a challenge for Buck Showalter.
Yeah, and Mike, I'm disappointed you didn't go like Ed Figueroa and Pat Dobson. But anyhow,
oh yeah, there you go. Mm-hmm.
let's move on. Carlos Correa is in Minnesota, and Nikco is always fixated on Carlos Correa. He doesn't care about his cheating. He doesn't care about any of that. 1-year deal, Nikco. What kind of year is he going to have? Is he going to have as good a year as he's ever had with the Astros, or is it going to be lesser?
I would say lesser. Obviously, he's switching divisions. Okay. He doesn't know anything about these pitchers here, and it's going to be, they're not going to be throwing the fastballs. He's a fastball, hitter, and he's not going to get them. So it's almost going to be like Lindor coming to the National League. It's an adjustment. So we can look for some kind of Lindor numbers his first year. Although Lindor had, he still scored almost nearly 80, 90 runs. I mean, that's a lot for a shortstop. And we ask a lot from Lindor. Obviously, if you're getting close to $400 million, we're going to ask a lot.
mean, those are good numbers if you're Andres Jimenez this year and you say, okay, that's nice. But this is Lindor, who was getting, 30, 100 every year and 30 steals and whatever, and he didn't do anything close to that. Now, I will tell you, this year he has shortened up his swing, and I do think he'll hit a few more homers, and that's good. He's still never going to hit as many as he hit in Cleveland because that ballpark is ridiculous. You could hop over the fence with one good jump. But Correa, I could see what you're saying, and I think there will be a similar struggle there, and he'll figure it out probably. Mike, what do you think?
Well, I think the advantage for Correa is that he's not switching leagues like Lindor, and I think Lindor had to adjust. But I think there's going to be a dip in terms of, Houston is a very hitter-friendly ballpark, and Minnesota has never struck me as that. I do think the Twins have a decent lineup that surrounds him, so he's not going to get pitched around. But I'll just say I find him personally reprehensible for his cheating.
He's not a fan of you, Mike, either.
No, yeah, I'm sure. The deal that he signed was weird. It's like a 3-year deal, but structured as a 1-year deal so he could walk. But yeah, it gives him a guarantee because I think Boris was his agent. It gives him a guarantee that if he has a subpar year, the Twins can't get out of it. So he's like he's the highest paid hitter per season, I believe, in the league. And, if he hits 250 with 20 home runs, he'd be stupid if he walks away. So, he could be there for 3 years.
All right. So an interesting dilemma here, Nikco. We know that, and this is what I love about baseball. Other sports, the fields are always like cookie cutter, and you got to leave them the way they are unless you build a new one, and that's pretty much it. But Camden Yards has changed. And Camden Yards now will have the left field wall will be pushed back 26.5 feet, and it's going to be 6 feet taller. They've got some bean counter saying that would have prevented 200 home runs over the past whatever years. But Nikco, the one thing they never take into account in all of these reports is that hitters have functioning brains. The minute they see that thing is like that, they're not going to try and hit it the same way when they're there because they know, unless they're, somebody who has just unbelievable power and it doesn't matter, they're going to try and hit it to center. They're going to move it over a little bit. Why hit it over a monster wall if you don't have to?
If you don't have to, exactly right, especially in that field. And like I said, the word's going to get around professional hitters. And like I said, maybe the home field, that's going to be their advantage because they're planning on just jamming hitters, the right-handed hitters, and like making those hitters adjust in their ballpark. And obviously the hitters are going to learn on their home field how to hit in their home ballpark. You think they'd have adjustment, but that's just way too much asking your hitters to do that kind of adjustment. Yeah, you're trying to maybe save money and prevent the home runs and play a defensive game.
It is cheaper to move the fence back, Nico, than actually get good pitching. That's true.
Well,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I'm sure Cedric Mullins and Ryan Mountcastle are not too exactly happy that the Orioles moved the fences back. I mean, honestly, if you think that that's the only way that you can prevent Aaron Judge and JD Martinez and Devers and guys like that,
they're still going to hit their homers.
They're still going to hit their home runs, and maybe teams will approach things differently, but it's a double-edged sword. Okay, the Yankees come in with their pitching. Now it's tougher for the Orioles players to hit home runs. And honestly, I know that you don't want bandbox ballparks, especially when you're a team that's paying probably less to your entire team than the Yankees pay Garrett Cole. But it's really, it's like, honestly, if you're bad, at least you want the ability to have some offense. And the Orioles are a joke of a franchise. They've been that way for about a decade.
Now, yeah.
Yeah, and that's a shame because it's one of the greatest organizations in terms of their history in the league.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
they don't seem to want to invest in that team, so they're just gonna do stupid crap like this.
Yeah, Nico, the same way Griffey hit the brick on the railroad yard, and certainly if Babe Ruth were alive, he'd have done it too. I just, maybe it saves a few home runs every once in a while, but is that going to make them a contender? No way.
No. It's going to pinch some pennies, and it's going to basically prevent their players from getting the $300 million contract coming out, and they're going to have the lowest budget like the Rays, and they're just going to be low budget for the rest of until they bring those fences back in and start paying some players.
So let's bring up Albert Pujols and why I hate the DH. Because the DH, all it does, Nico, is it brings back washed-up ball players to try and give it one more go when they can't run, they could barely hit, they can't field anymore. Like, at that point, are you even a baseball player? And Albert Pujols, as great as he was, he got a couple of hits in the postseason, but made mostly outs. And now it's like, well, hey, come back and this will be the last go for you, and we'll slot you in for 150 at bats, and the fans will like it. But Nico, this is what I hate about the DH.
What if I told you, Russ, that I just turned 55 years old, and if the Mets called me today to DH for them, we would actually win the World Series? It's my knowledge.
No, I mean,
you don't have to be young to hit the 40 home runs or 50 home runs to lead a team to a world championship.
Honestly,
just get the big hits at the right time.
I haven't seen you hit. I haven't seen you hit in a long time, and I'm 3 years older than you. I'm not sure you do any better than me in a fast pitch softball game. I'd have to see you first.
No. I don't play fast pitch softball. We're talking fast pitch baseball. And it's like riding a bike, Russ. Yes, you're going to be a little rusty, but listen, when I do my training and my players, and these are pro players too, I'll challenge anybody. I'll have a workout and we'll hit 200 balls, and we'll count the line drives when we have a workout. And whoever's got the most line drives wins the workout. And if you have more than me, you don't pay me. And if I have more than you, then it's $10,000 for that lesson.
All right, well, then we'll keep that out there for anybody. But I'll say this. I'm sure you could beat Albert Pujols in a race.
I can beat anybody on the Mets in a line drive challenge. Set it up. I will fly
you
in
cannot.
and I will challenge the Mets to a line drive challenge.
Jeff McNeil would kill you in a line drive challenge. That's all he has.
Yes, I'd love it. Yes, I'd love it. Let's do it. Bring it. That's what they need. They need line drives. They need every one of their hitters to hit line drives.
I'm not going to be as boastful as Nico, but I'll just say this. I mean, because of the lateness of the CBA agreement and the switch over to DH, this is the National League has basically had to treat the DH this year like the American League did in, so was it 73 when like the Yankees had Ron Blomberg as their DH. It's like, they were scrambling. A lot of these teams were scrambling to find a player who could fit in as a DH. And with the Cardinals, it was simply, okay, Pujols this is probably his last year. It's probably I'm just he never
like Seabiscuit at the end. Like what are
Russ,
we talking about?
Russ, you never know. Suzuki went to the Marlins and played 3 years there. You don't know what these guys in terms of them not wanting to quit. But I'm just saying, for the Cardinals, I think they're bringing him in for 1 year. It's Molina's going to retire. Maybe Wainwright's going to retire. It's like
good. I hope they all retire. Let them all retire. Let all those guys from the 2006 team retire. That would make me happy.
Yeah, so Wainwright can he can strike out Lindor on a curveball.
Yeah, but Lindor won't go down looking. That's the difference.
Yes, that's true. But you see, like, I mean, a team like the Mets, I mean, DH is a repository for somebody. I think that if I was them, I would have simply bought him out, which is Cano. But their theory is, well, let's give him a look, and if he sucks, we'll just buy him out in May. He's hitting like 140. But that's
so far he don't look great. I'll tell you
that. Right, and that's what it's going to be. You're going to have teams that scrambled at the 11th hour. They're going to put their worst fielder at DH. So and then maybe open it. It could be, the thing is, it could be an opportunity for other players that wouldn't get a chance because they didn't have a DH. But all in all, I understand the National League fans' mentality. They don't want the American League, and now the National League and the American League are one and the same.
Yeah, I still not gonna like that, and definitely not enjoying Robinson Cano hitting at DH. At least if it's Dominic Smith, you say, all right, the guy could hit. But Dominic Smith can field a little bit too. But whatever. It's just, I'm still not happy about it. It is the way it is. But I just thought I'd bring it up because of Albert Pujols and all of that. All right. So, Nico, the Ohtani rule. What the hell is baseball doing? You can't make a rule just for one guy. It's ridiculous.
I mean, we have a superstar player here, so we're talking about a player who we haven't seen in a long time. So yeah, I have no problems with an Ohtani rule. What is the Ohtani rule? I haven't even heard of it.
Go ahead, Mike.
If he's pitching and he's the DH, that once he's pulled from the game, like last year, he pitched for the Angels against the Yankees. He got bombed in the first inning, and they yanked him, and he couldn't be used as the DH because he had been pulled as a pitcher. They're now saying he could stay in as a DH for the pitch. So let's change the rules of the friggin' game for one guy who is a unicorn.
No, every pitcher. So here it is.
No, but
DeGrom is on the mound. DeGrom is on the mound. The Mets have a choice here. I would let DeGrom hit. I don't want a DH if DeGrom is pitching. And then if we take him out, he's still my hitter.
And
but with all the injuries now, they probably won't do it. They might have done it 2 years ago, but they're not going to do it now.
Yeah. Do you remember the name Cheng-Ming Wong? I mean, that's the thing. Yeah. It's like you don't want your pitchers out there hitting. If the purpose of the DH is not to have your pitchers not hit, I understand that. Okay, the Mets could use DeGrom as the DH. Because he's such a good hitter, but do you want to risk him, hitting and running on the base?
What did the Angels say? The Angels are risking Ohtani, so what's the deal? It's a new game. Let's risk it. Let's win. The Brewers lost the World Series because they didn't want to pitch Burness because they thought he didn't have enough rest, and they blew it. They went with another pitcher. Come on, 3 days rest is enough.
That's part of the deal when it comes to Ohtani. I don't know if it's a codicil in his contract, but he definitely said, he signed with the Angels because they would let him do both. So, but my point, and that's fine to let
codicils
him.
Only in wills? Aren't those only for wills? I don't know. Anyhow,
come on, give me
every
a break.
pitcher should want to do both. If
you're gonna speak legalese, Mike, get it right.
Okay, excuse me. I'm in pain, so.
Now he's in pain.
So yeah, every pitcher should want to be like Ohtani and hit and pitch.
I'm in the same type of pain that you'll be with the Mets in September, but no.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be brutal.
So something else. Yale's catcher Jake Gary, if I pronounced it right, hit 2 grand slams. He had 2 grand slams and 11 RBIs versus Princeton yesterday. Actually, yeah, 11 RBIs. Nico, that's unbelievable. Like this guy's a catcher. The teams are going to be after him.
You know what? I think that performance right there made him the first player taken in the draft, especially the Mets. If the Mets come and do not get that catcher, then the Mets have some issues and they have some scouting issues, because every single swing basically on that performance on that day was almost the exact same swing. The guy has mastered the lift, and he's just I'm looking forward to seeing him with the wooden bat and ball it out. And he's a catcher. That's hard to believe. We're looking at a Johnny Bench here.
I mean, Mike, what's your feeling just on the surface? Like, we don't have that many good hitting catchers in the game. Mm-hmm. So I have to believe he's going to be a commodity.
Well, I mean, a hitting catcher, like Nico said, with like a guy like Bench or the Yankees had with Posada for years. And I'm not comparing the two, but Posada was a decent defender, but a pretty good hitter. It's a unicorn. If you get right now, the reason that the Yankees gave Gary Sanchez probably 2 more years than he deserved was because they thought, okay, this guy hit 290 and 30 home runs, and if we get that out of him, everything is gravy. We will take the pass balls. But the problem is that he was hitting 190 and 15 to 20 home runs, so it wasn't worth it. And now they've gone the direction of having 2 defensive catchers, and they'll probably get the same type of offense that they had out of him. But I think every team out there is looking for a plus defender at catcher, but and everything offensively is gravy. If this guy is good defensively and can hit 260, 270 and give you 20, 25 home runs, he's an all-star.
Nico, the Mets have no shot at him. They're drafting 11th because of the debacle last year of not signing the pitcher that they drafted, and they got the 14th. So it's Baltimore, Arizona, Texas, Pittsburgh, Washington. He's not getting past Washington. He probably won't even get past Arizona, but we'll see. But that's the pick. So that has nothing to do with the Mets. Don't blame the Mets on this. They're never going to get a shot at this guy.
Russ, the only way he falls is if a number of teams believe that they can't get him signed, because we've seen players.
That's true.
And so like with your unofficial cousins, multi-billions, it's possible that teams get scared off and he could slip to them and he could spend the money to sign him. But yeah, I think you're right. He probably goes in the top 3 or 4 picks.
So, Nico, another story coming out of Philly. Bryson Stott, their number 1 prospect, may make the opening day roster, but not as a third baseman. And I'm thinking, why in the world would the Phillies do that when they could put Gene Segura on third, whose range is kind of, getting a little more limited as he gets older, and let the kid at least play shortstop and have a fighting chance? Why in the world would you have him changing positions as a rookie?
You're talking about Alec Brom?
Bryson Stott.
Oh, Stott. No, I seen the young kid play shortstop. Didn't he play yesterday?
Yeah, but he might play third. That's the point.
No, I don't think so. They got Brom at third. I think that was
No. He's not going to. Alec Bohm is not going to play third. He will be first base, or he's going to get traded. They're not going to be using him at third because he was horrible at third last year. He had a mental block. They're not going to use him.
Okay, then Segura maybe. Yeah, Segura, because the young guy's the shortstop. I mean, what I saw yesterday and his bat, I mean, he earned the shortstop position where I'm afraid of the Phillies this year. I think the Phillies have filled the void of Freddie Freeman leaving Atlanta Braves, and I think this young shortstop, it all relies on him, because if he can carry that middle anchor that right there, and they've got Ramuto behind the backstop, and I like their young center fielder, that young center fielder that they got. What's his name for Tilo or?
I forget who it is now. Right this second. Now I'm having a mental block. But the Phillies are pretty good.
He's a baller. So yes, he's a baller from the Florida State League, and he's a proven player. I want him to basically be in that opening day lineup. And I think Dombrowski has looked into that farm system and said, hey, why trade some of these guys like I normally do? And let's bring them up and play them, because I think I got some ballers here with the shortstop and center fielder. That's all I need. And I think they got something.
There's not a person on earth, Mike, that doesn't think Dave Dombrowski is going to be trading some of their prospects. It's so funny.
My God. Yeah, it's like saying Donald Trump is not going to go and screw people in the stock market.
Yeah, Segura has played 24 games at third base for Phillies, so like he has done it.
I mean, the only thing I can see is that, okay, if they think that because shortstop is an important position, that they just want this kid to get acclimated to the Major League Baseball, and they think that third is not going to be as much of a mental burden on him. I gotta tell
you, the throw at third, if you're used to being a shortstop, is worse.
Yes. Yeah, it's a completely different position, and if he's able to pull it off in the short term, then maybe he adjusts and they move him to shortstop later on. I mean, like I was going to say, it's like, Gleyber Torres gets traded from the Cubs to the Yankees, and they put him at second base, and he plays well, and he hits 30 some odd home runs, and then they move him to shortstop where he was supposed to be, and he couldn't hit as a shortstop. Now he's going back to second base, and I think it's just in terms of the mental burden, it's a lot on certain players. So it might be to say that they just want to get this kid in the lineup, see what he does in the major leagues. If he's not ready, then they send him down to AAA and let him get some work. But they're going to give him a shot. But I don't think it's a disaster that a player doesn't play the position that he's sort of aimed for. But eventually,
he's played his whole life. Okay, sure. All right.
Jesus,
got it.
Okay,
all right.
I can tell that I sold you there, Russ. Thanks.
Let's play a game here. We'll close it out with this. We're gonna each name a team in each league that will not make that. Either you can pick one that's not going to make the playoffs that maybe people think will, and one that will make the playoffs that maybe they think won't. So I'll start off with this. I don't think the Braves are going to make the playoffs, and I'll tell you why. I think Freeman was a big leader, and just because you get Olsen doesn't mean he's going to be a leader. They won't have a leader now. Acuna, they've sat out for spring training, which again, that's now going to carry over that knee into the regular season. As far as we'll see when he gets hot. Charlie Morton's 100 years old, and he's still their best pitcher. Their starting pitcher. I think they've got some problems, and I'm going to go with the Los Angeles Angels, or whatever the hell they're calling them these days, as the team that makes it, because I do think they've made some really good moves, including getting Syndergaard, and now at least they have a 1-2 combo at the top of the rotation. I think they actually will make the playoffs with the expanded playoffs. Okay, Mike?
In terms of a team that people think will make it that I don't think will, I'm gonna go the Red Sox. I know that they added Story, but Story is going to be playing out of position, which is odd. It's like, but they'll only go as far as their pitching will take them. And when Sale, sort of goes down in spring training and his health is still a big question mark, I don't have a lot of confidence in the rest of the rotation. Their offense is fine, but I don't know whether they have the pitching to be able to beat consistently Tampa, Toronto, and New York in their division. So I think they're gonna have trouble in the AL making the playoffs. And in the National League, the team that's going to have a dramatic downfall is the San Francisco Giants. I mean,
really,
I think their pitching is really good, but I don't know if they replace the offense. I mean, Buster Posey hit over 300 in his final year, and losing him to retirement and replacing him with, I think, Joey Bart or whoever, that's going to be a dramatic downshift. They really didn't add anything in terms of offense to replace Posey, so I think the Giants are going to have trouble.
Okay, Nico?
You know what? I think the Royals are going to surprise a lot of people. They're going to be the team that people like you, Russ, don't think they're good enough to win a World Series because they're a small market team. They don't have a lot of payroll. But
it's not because they're a small market team. It's just because they don't have anybody.
Right.
Well, no, this Bobby Witt Jr. could be an MVP player
really
here.
Good.
We're going to see.
Listen.
We're going to
really
see something here special. and he's probably good enough with the combination with the catcher, Santana, which is an MVP player. He should have won the MVP.
Perez,
Yeah, Perez. That's what I'm talking about. Salvador.
Yeah,
Those two players together,
his
two
year
MVPs.
was too good to be true. That's all I'll say.
Well, yeah. If he can do that again with Bobby Wood Jr., they've got a lineup. They're going to
should be able to do
people.
that again. But okay.
Yeah. All right. So I think they're going to be surprised. And who's not going to make it? Who everyone thinks is going to make it? I think Mike is going to be hurt. The Yankees are going to be sitting at home.
Please, I'm gonna hold my breath waiting for the friggin' Kansas City Royals to be in the World Series and the Yankees to miss the playoffs. Jesus Christ!
Listen, Mike, he didn't interrupt you.
Yeah,
please continue, Nico.
Yeah, because the Yankees. I think what they did to Luke Voigt, and just the whole thing and the scramble. They don't know who's going to play shortstop. They don't know Gablator. They don't know if they're going to give Judge the money. They don't know if he's a center fielder or a right fielder. They don't know. But I do know that they picked up Ron Guzman, and if they can let Ron Guzman play, then they're going to have they could make the playoffs, okay? As long as Guzman's at first base every day, he could be that difference.
Well, the first baseman's going to be Anthony Rizzo. So, they traded Voigt because Voigt, led the major leagues in an odd year and was an automatic out last year.
And because he was outspoken.
Yeah, no, I think he was outspoken because he knew he was out, Russ. That's the problem.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure of it. They moved Torres back to second base. That's a move in the right direction. I'm not the move I'm not sold on is the Josh Donaldson thing. I thought Josh Donaldson.
No, I'm not either.
Done, and they're paying him to over $25 million for the final 2 years of the contract. They do improve better defensively with Kiner Falefa at shortstop, but the whole thing that they did was they're lining up for what they think is the next superstar shortstop, that the kid that they have in Volpe or Peraza. They have two excellent prospects, and they seem to think that one of them will be up by the middle of the year. So I think they're sort of playing the waiting game there. I think it's dangerous. I would have gone out. I would have signed Story. I would have spent the money, but I'm not Hal Steinbrenner. But I think they're in the mix with Toronto's got shortcomings. Tampa Bay has shortcomings. There are no perfect teams in that AL East, and I think they'll make, if it's 6 teams making the playoffs, I think the Yankees will definitely be one of them.
All right, Nico, last thing, because the big pickup for the Royals was Zach Greinke at the age of 37. How many games is he going to win?
14. They need him.
14 games
behind him. Yes, he's got an offense behind him. I mean, this is something that we're going to see magic, and that's why I like the Royals. I'd love to see Greinke win 14 games. I'd love to see it, and I'm looking forward to it.
Last time he did that was 2018.
Yeah, he can't break a pane of glass anymore. He will not get double figures.
All right,
there's some nice conflicting opinions. He's going to have a sellout crowd every night. He's going to have, the spirits behind him of the game. He'll be in that Royal uniform. He'll be some magic. We're going to see. We're going to see some magic here this year. It's going to be a great year. It's probably going to be one of the better years. It always gets better every single year.
In honor of Dan Quisenberry, Greinke's going to throw Submarine. There you go.
All right. That's it. That's where this show is gone. That's it for the game. We'll catch everybody next time.
My man.